Hello, beautiful people of YouTube. My name is Leo with Super Tech. Today I actually have a customer that brought in their Xbox One X due to, well, initially he basically stated that he's having HDMI issues to where it doesn't display. I'm guessing he thinks that the HDMI port itself is actually broken. Now I did test the HDMI port or validate the HDMI port. It actually looks to be fine. That being said, he also disclosed that apparently the resolution changes from his 1080p resolution to a lower I think it's like 430p resolution, which it drops down. Normally that then tells that the issue is actually the retimer chip. So that's what we're going to be doing today, is actually replacing the retimer chip on this particular Xbox One X. Now I will confirm and validate as well the HDMI port to make sure that there's nothing wrong with it from within the actual HDMI port, as well as the pins on the actual board itself. That being said, we're going to go ahead and take this Xbox One X apart and let's validate and make sure that the HDMI port itself is actually in good condition. And if so, the only thing we're going to do is replace the retimer chip, and then we'll test and validate to make sure that it actually works fine. Let's go ahead and get to tearing this Xbox One X apart. Alright, first things first, I did notice that this Xbox One X here, and let me move this out of the way because I could barely see the screen here. This Xbox One X here has not been open. As you can see, it still has the label. Now, it's a possibility that could have been open and just put the label, the warranty sticker back, but it does not seem like it has been open. So I'll be the first one actually getting in here. All right, we got the heatsink out. Heatsink, it is dirty. We are gonna have to clean that out. Looks like we left one of the pads on the RAM chip. Let's go ahead and get that removed from there and put it on here. Awesome. We're gonna move that out of the way. So first things first, what we need to do is actually validate, check the HDMI port, which is here, to see if there's anything going on with this HDMI port. Not sure if you guys can actually see that. Let me zoom in just a tad bit here. This is the HDMI port here, and we do need to validate that there's nothing wrong on the inside, and of course the pins themselves. For that, of course, I will be using my microscope to validate the pins on the inside of the actual port as well as on the actual board itself. So let's go ahead and get that done now. Turn on my microscope. Let's go ahead and switch over to the microscope. And let's look on the inside of this HDMI port. The inside of this port actually looks good, at least on this side of the board. Let me look on this other side. On this side of the actual port itself, it doesn't look bad at all. It doesn't look like there's any bent pins. So it's not what the customer thought of the issue being the HDMI port. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with this port. Everything looks good on the actual port itself. On the inside, let's take a look at the port on the pins on the actual board. Hopefully y'all can see that. Let me change the setting here, menu, and let's look at these pins. These pins, they do seem to be solid so far. The pins actually seem to be very solid. So most definitely the issue is going to be the retimer chip. This one here. And which we're going to go ahead and get replaced for this customer. Just to make sure that they don't have any issues at all whatsoever. So we're going to get that replaced. Before I do that though, I do want to test the capacitor surrounding the retimer chip though. We're going to be using our multimeter. I actually got this from iPad Rehab. The only complaint I have about this multimeter is that since it's a digital multimeter, it turns off on its own, and I hate the fact that it actually turns off on its own. I really don't like that at all. That's the only complaint I would have. I think I need to buy me one that's not necessarily digital so that it doesn't turn off on its own. So right now, I've got my multimeter set to diode mode. That way I can actually just validate the capacitor surrounding the retimer chip to see if any of them are actually shorted to ground. Even though, let's say for an example, they all seem to be good, I'm still going to replace the retimer chip as the customer is having issues with it either changing the resolution on it while playing and sometimes going to a black screen. So it still works. It comes on every now and then. But then he has the resolution itself that actually changes from whatever high quality resolution he has of 1080p probably. I'm not sure if it's 4K, and then it drops to, you know, the lowest 420 or 430p I believe. So but I'm just double checking right now. So I'm gonna do red probe on ground, and then black probe I'm gonna use to test the capacitors. That one's good. 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 I did test the one surrounding the actual retimer chip, and they seem to be good. We're still going to go ahead and replace this retimer chip either way, and then we'll test to see if we actually have if we're able to get this Xbox to boot up. Now, one of the things I like doing, of course, is I like validating that, make sure I do have the right chip as well for this. It is the Xbox One X version. I need to see where is the first pin. Got my marker here, and I'm gonna okay, looks like pin number 1 is actually on this side of the board. Put a marker. That tells me that this is pin number 1 on this corner. There's also a white mark there. That entails that. All right, let's go ahead and get this retimer chip removed. First things first, what we're going to do is put some flux around this. That actually helps. I know you don't have to, but I prefer doing it itself. That actually helps with the flow of, I know most of you guys actually know, guys and gals know, helps with the flow of solder. Solder, I don't know how to say it. Is it solder or is it solder? I know it's soldering, so I don't know. I'll still call it solder. All right, we're gonna get that done. Let's turn on our iron on, and let's turn the heat on as well. Heater is on. Let's heat up the board a little bit first, because this is a pretty thick board. Okay. There we go. We got the retimer chip pulled out. We are going to lower the temperature of this retimer chip, so let me go ahead. It's a good thing I've already got it heated. Got the solder here. The leaded solder that I'm going to be using, but I am going to add just a tad bit more flux on here. Forgot to turn on my fume extractor. Gotta be safe. I don't like using this fume extractor, but still use it though. I don't like this one because it's pretty big and it gets in my way sometimes. Alrighty, everything looks good. Just a matter of cleaning it one more time and then adding some more flux and adding the new chip. hit the chip. Okay, chips on there. Let's lower the airflow. Airflow, we're gonna move it to 90. 90 from 120. Heat still set at 760. Alrighty, everything is done. We're gonna test. Before we do, we're gonna clean up a little bit because we made a mess with all this flux. Alrighty, so what we're going to do now is test these pins to make sure nothing's bridged and that they are making contact, of course. Where's my multimeter? Multimeter's over here. Awesome. So we're not going to test necessarily each individual one. I think this one's ground. It's not ground. Is it ground? Okay, those were good. We're gonna see if they have. I don't like this. I don't like the cotton swap believes that. I don't like that. And check to see if we have any bridges. These two go together, so that's fine. That one's fine as well. Awesome. This one is not sitting too well with me. Well, maybe it is. I thought they were probably bridged. They weren't. Both of these are together? I did not realize they were. I don't have another board to test if these are together. They seem to be though, because that pad goes here, that pad goes there. So yeah. Okay. Everything looks good. Let's put the board back together, turn it on, and test. Of course, we are going to clean this thermal paste. So you can see this thermal paste here. Let me zoom out a little bit. It is dried up. There's hardly any actually on the APU. So we are going to have to remove this thermal paste off of this board and add some new thermal paste. Let's go ahead and switch over the cam. Alrighty. Now that we're back, let's go ahead and get this cleaned out and add some new thermal paste. Alrighty, so we've cleaned the actual APU. That is good. Let's now go ahead and clean the heatsink. Awesome. Heatsink is clean. I still need to take it to my air compressor to blow all that out, but before I do that though, I want to go ahead and test. So let's go ahead and start putting this together so that we are able to test, make sure that it comes up. Before I do that, actually, we're going to, you know what? I'll be right back, y'all. Let me go ahead and blow and clean these other pieces real quick, because once I put this on, it's accidental. It's happened before where I get it all over my hands and stuff like that, and I hate that. So let me, I'm going to stop the video here. It'll only be a second for you guys, but it'll take a few minutes for me because I need to go ahead and clean, as the customer's also paying for me to clean their console as well. Heatsink, all the other components, the case, from the inside and outside. I'm going to go ahead and get those cleaned up real quick and then get back to you. Alrighty, thanks everyone. We are back. I just got to cleaning everything. We're going to go ahead and put the thermal paste on this particular console now. I got me two more tubes of this because I'm actually running out of this one. Only have, as you can see, only have that much left right there. And I use the MX4 thermal compound. So I had to order me some. I do order it from Amazon, so if any of you are actually interested in getting this thermal paste, the link will be in the bottom below. I don't have a store, an Amazon store or anything like that, so I'm not necessarily making any money from it, but if anyone's actually interested, of course, you are more than welcome to just click on the link and yeah, and order it for yourself. I should make a store, but I'm gonna wait to open a store with Amazon because I had opened one before. It got closed for, well, I didn't sell anything, or no one actually bought anything from the links I actually put up there, so I just decided not to bother with it anymore. I think after a period of time without any activity, Amazon shuts the store down, I think, or not the store, but the affiliation, that the account that I opened for it. So it got closed due to that. All right, thermal paste is on there. I know some of you guys will say that it's too much, but to me, I feel comfortable. I prefer it having more than less. I want to make sure that the APU is fully covered and it's not going to overheat, especially this Xbox One X. Excuse me, especially the Xbox One X, they tend to generate a lot of heat. They tend to get pretty hot, so you definitely need quite a bit of it to keep that APU cool. All right, let's go ahead and start putting this board back together, the console back together. Awesome. Oh man, see, that's what I'm talking about. I should have waited till I had the APU in here first. I accidentally touched it, and I hate when I get thermal paste all over me and or my equipment. So let me clean all this thermal paste out. Alrighty, we're good to go. Let's go ahead and put, and I kind of already messed up already. I was putting the board in there without the heat sink being on here. There we go. Let's turn this around. X clamp. There we go. That's on there. We did clean the heatsink as well, so you can see it's spotless, no dust at all. There was dust in there, so we had to go ahead and get that cleaned up for the customer, as he did request for it to be cleaned. There we go. Well, you know what? We're not going to worry about that. I just wanted to see if the CD drive would also work as well. We're just going to insert the CD and then eject it after I put everything else. But right now, we're just going to plug this in. We're going to test to see if it actually boots fully. Alrighty. Moment of truth. Moment of truth. It beeped. Console. Let's see if it'll switch over. It did. So that means the HDMI port's good. Let's see if we get the splash screen. We did. Fan spinning. So far, so good. Now, I don't have a 4K TV, so I don't have the capability to test 4K. As far as I can go is actually 1080p, and that's all I can test. I don't have a way of actually testing a 4K. The sync button's not connected, so I can't check to see if my controller works. But we were able to get to the splash screen, as you can see. Let me go ahead and turn it off real quick, and we're going to fully put this back together. Okay, let's attempt to connect, sync this controller. There we go. We're gonna see if we could get to 1080p. I think it should already be at 1080p now. Yep, 1080p. I don't have 4K capabilities, like I said previously, on any of my either TVs or monitors. I wish I did. So I don't have a way of testing 4K, but I can test that it is 4K. So as of now, I've completed the cleaning. I've also completed I completed the cleaning, completed the retimer chip, cleaned the actual board itself, cleaned the heatsink, cleaned the inside. Now we've tested. Let me make sure that it will take a CD and eject the CD. If it does, we are honestly golden. CD is inside. Let's see if it'll read it. I hear it spinning, and there it is. It's installing Ghost. Let's eject it, and we're good. Everything's good on this console. If you stayed in tune and actually watched this video, thank you very much. Do me a favor, I am new to YouTube. I'm actually new completely to repairing consoles themselves. I've been in the repair business though for quite a while, you know, from computers being in actual PCs, Dell PCs, servers, replacing hardware within the actual servers themselves, and of course doing some PCB work as well. So I do have that type of experience, but with consoles, I will say that this is something new that I've taken upon since, I would say, November of last year. You know, due to financial reasons, decided to basically build my own business, and this is basically it. I believe that I have gained the experience, knowledge possible to be able to repair just about any console device now. I've been doing it. Initially, I started, of course, investing my own money, and now I'm actually doing customers' items as, you know, I feel fully comfortable that I can get these repaired for customers themselves. If you like the video, do me a favor, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Also hit the like button and the bell notification. That way you get notified every time I upload a video. Other than that, thank you very much. Thank you for stopping by, and I will see you on my next video. Thanks, guys. Peace.